Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Entity here, and welcome to episode 7 of the Anipoke Bros podcast. As always, I'm joined with the Pokeref.
We're back, baby, after God knows how long, but we're back.
Yay! We were all busy doing projects, mostly me, but anyway, and we are also joined with Numio Shrinazak.
Hi, welcome back.
Hey, it feels good to be back, actually. It's definitely been quite a while. In today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about the recent new titles and summaries for the Pokemon Journeys anime, future speculation to do with Pokemon Journeys, such as all characters returning, news about the opening visuals changing, and some new merchandise, which is very interesting. So yeah, let's just jump right into the first topic, which is the new titles. The new titles are Pokemon Journeys Episode 32, Celebi, A Timeless Promise. Episode 33, Would You Like to Do a Pokemon Trade? Episode 34, The Solitary Fighter B. Ooh, The Threatening Graplock. Episode 35, Get Pikachu. And episode 36, Crawl Out the Sand Tomb, Ash and Girl. Ooh. So firstly, we'll be starting with episode 32, the Celebi episode. The summary for this episode states, quote, 3 years ago, Go met a young boy named Tokyo on a family trip to Acelia town in the Johto region. Tokyo was searching for the mythical Pokemon Celebi, and the two kindred spirits decided to search for it together. But Celebi turned out not to be all that easy to find. The two of them then parted ways, promising to meet up again the next day to continue their search. But Tokyo never showed up at the spot they had promised to meet that day. Flash forward to the present day, when Go once again visits Acelia town, he ends up encountering... End quote, and we can all pretty much guess who he's going to encounter there. And,
Mew!
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo.
But yeah, if you guys have seen our episode 31 reaction and review, we actually reacted to the preview for this episode as well, and originally we weren't thinking that much for the episode, but ever since seeing that preview, we've been kind of excited for that. And that's simply because, first of all, it looks like Tokyo might have ended up time traveling into the future where he'll still be a kid while Go has obviously grown up. But yeah, that's already pretty exciting to me. But Raph, as for everything else, provide your thoughts right now.
Well, I think the one thing that we're all looking forward to seeing is the plot and backstory for Go. Like, the sad tone from the preview itself pretty much gave us an indication that this is going to be quite like not like a dark episode, but it's going to be quite emotional, and we're going to be exploring quite a bit of lore, and there has been a few theories circulating around, and the most popular one is that maybe this could be the opportunity for, like what we were saying in the group chat about how it could be relating back to episode 3, where they all meet the Ivysaur, and how Go says to Ash, so you're one of those guys. So it could be maybe relating to that. Maybe he had an experience with this Tokyo kid beforehand, and that's what made him say it. We've obviously seen a couple of episode images as well. We're going to see the Elix Forest Shrine's going to be there, so that's probably going to be relating, of course, to Celebi. I don't really know what else to explain.
I definitely think it's going to be time travel. The preview just put too much emphasis, and the summary here, that it seems like his friend has traveled into the future or something like that because of just all that we've seen. And I remember you saying to us in WhatsApp, Raph, actually, about the GS Ball.
Yes.
So explain that as well, if you want.
Well, everyone thinks that maybe when I done my first thoughts and discussions on this episode, I thought maybe they could be like, maybe finally answering some extra lore to do with the GS Ball and to do with Kerr and, etc., etc. Maybe Ash isn't in... Ash isn't in this episode, so that's another thing to take into consideration too. This is probably a good setup for them bringing Go as the main protagonist if they want to set him up like that. This is like the first time in history now that they're not showing Ash and Pikachu. But as for the GS Ball, they could maybe answer more stuff to do with that interview back... I can't remember how long ago it was, but even in the interview they did say that once that was done, it was cut. Maybe it could show some tie-ins to Forever as well, and M23, but I don't know. Maybe Zach might be able to elaborate a bit more on that.
I mean, I don't really know how they're going to tie it in. I mean, my hope was, before we got the summary, my hope was that maybe, Ash would be there, and then maybe we could finally get some closure with the GS Ball. But, they're purposely taking him out of the episode, almost to avoid that scenario. Like, oh, Ash was in Azalea Town and they didn't bring up the GS ball. So that's like interesting, but also I kind of see it in this interesting way where like kind of tagging it like and tying it to like the video that I did about Pokemon movies, canon and stuff. Obviously the M23 isn't going to be canon because it's part of the alternate universe storyline, but it seems like this episode was supposed to come out around the same time as movie 23. So it could be seen as like this episode, what is it? Episode 32 is like Go's journey, but then the movie is like the parallel, like maybe they're happening at the same time because like if you see Ash's clothes in the new movie, it's like inspired by his Pokemon Journeys outfit. So you can almost interpret it as, oh, this is like a Pokemon Journeys version of AU Ash. So it's like, why isn't Go in the movie? Oh, because they're on separate adventures. The episode is just about Go. The movies is just about Ash. That's like a fun, like headcanon way, I guess, of thinking about it. Because if you think about it, like it would appear like, wouldn't it come out the week before or like the week after the movie? That's usually how it is. And with Celebi, so it's like you would watch the episode. Oh, there's no Ash. Where you want to see Ash? Go watch the movie. You know what I mean? And kind of going back to what Raph said, touching on the topic about like possible time travel and like Go's backstory. We talked about this a little bit with the preview, but it's like it's very interesting because at first I thought this episode was gonna be like an episode 9 scenario where it's like, oh, we're gonna find Celebi, but then we don't find it, and then it gets a quick cameo at the end of the episode, like how they treated Ho-Oh. But now this seems even more interesting because I feel like Celebi still might get the same treatment. Like it's gonna get a cameo in the episode, but it won't really be the main focus. I think the main thing is about developing Go and his backstory with this kid Tokyo, which explains why Ash wouldn't be in the episode because they want to focus on Go. It wouldn't really make sense to have Ash there, at least. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he'll get a cameo or something. But like, just the fact that it seems like he was really good friends with him. And then the next day they were supposed to meet to try to continue to find Celebi. And then Go never saw him again. So he felt betrayed. He thought his friend betrayed him. That's why even in the preview, he's like, oh, Tokyo, you jerk or whatever. Yeah. We made a promise. We were supposed to be friends. And then that kind of might connect to why the line that Raph said, he's like, oh, you're one of those guys or whatever. Because like, even in episode 1, I think like Koharu was like, oh, you're just more interested in Pokemon. How come you don't make friends or something like that? He's like, oh, who cares about friends? You know, like his only friend was Koharu. And then even he kind of struggled a little bit to get to know Ash in episode 3. But, you know, so this could finally give us that development. Even like looking back, wow, it just hit me. The episode where Go caught Cubone and we got the flashback of his family, his childhood and stuff. Like his parents were kind of concerned because he was always on the computer. He wasn't really worried about making friends. They even mentioned his only friend is Koharu. He just spends time looking for Pokemon. So it's like this could be the reason why. You know, he made friends with Tokyo to look for Celebi. And even in the episode, I feel like even if we don't get Celebi, we're gonna get some good moments with other Pokemon because it seems like even in the previous shows he's befriending like a Sunflora or something like that, the wild Pokemon in there. So that might contribute even more to why he likes looking for Pokemon and stuff like that, because he's always had that interest since we first met him. So I'm just looking forward to it. It seems like a very like kind of like you said, Raph, not like a dark episode, but more like an emotional backstory for Go that he really needs because right now he's just Go. But this will really add more depth to his character, which I'm really looking forward to.
It's gonna be good.
You definitely hit the nail on the head of how I feel about that too. Like this is definitely the first Go episode I am excited for as well because literally every other Go summary and preview we've gotten, I've just been and then when the episodes have aired, I've just been too. But this is the first one to actually get me excited for a while because of that possible there is a backstory event, you know, possible development as well. So I am really intrigued to see this episode. And originally, when this title got revealed, I was like, oh, another Celebi episode as well. But it makes sense as well because, again, they want to showcase every single Pokemon in the series. So Celebi had to eventually get an episode as well. But because it seems to be, to me at least, my theory, like I said earlier on, that this friend of his time traveled to the future, it seems that this episode's going to be very intriguing with its story there. So I actually like that as well, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of like what I was gonna say. Like it can honestly go either way. It could be that like his friend Tokyo went to the future, and when Go visits Azalea Town again, now he sees him as a kid still, or like the kid went back in time. Celebi sent him back in time, and then he aged, and now he's an adult. Yeah, like it could go either way, honestly, because it seems like he's like, oh, Go visits Azalea Town, and then like it kind of makes you want to think, oh, he's gonna see Celebi now, but like it seems like since the focus is on him and Tokyo, it's like, oh, he's gonna run into him, and he's gonna find out why. he abandoned him, quote unquote, and it's probably with Celebi, kind of like a movie 4 scenario with Professor Oak and Sam time traveling, and then so that's interesting.
Definitely. So to put it in a nutshell, we're all very intrigued to see this episode indeed. Alright, so moving on to the next episode, boys, we have the Who Wants to Trade a Pokemon, which the summary states, quote, Ash and Go are visiting the Vermilion City trade event, where a trainer that really wants a Pinsir asks Go to trade with them. End quote. Zach, you start with your thoughts regarding this episode.
So right off the bat, I mean, initially we had the theory like, oh, maybe Go's gonna try to trade his Scyther to get a Scizor or something like that, and it's still possible, but because the summary has the emphasis on Pinsir, like maybe that's what's gonna happen. Go's gonna end up trading it. And I see like it's probably gonna be parallels to episode 15 of the original series where Ash traded his Butterfree for Eradicate, and then like eventually he realizes, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. He feels bad, he regrets it, and then he gets it by the end of the episode. And something interesting about that, although it's kind of like recycling an old plot point, I feel like a lot of this series has kind of been doing that. I mean, we already kind of talked about it a little bit with the episode prior. Like it seems like they're kind of doing the movie 4 plot line a little bit with Go. And this just like hammers the point home even further, like more and more that like it seems like they're setting up Go to be the next main protagonist of this series. So like even Raph touched on this before, because like a lot of the early episodes, it felt like such a grind because a lot of the episodes are focusing on introducing Pokemon mechanics and stuff to Go, whether it be Pokemon battling. Now this one is about trading and stuff like that. And he's kind of going through the same story beats that Ash went through in the original series. Kind of like Goodbye Raboot was the same thing as like Goodbye Pikachu. It's like he's going through the same development. So this is his moment, his episode to learn about Pokemon trading and then like realize whether a trade is worth it or not. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be very interesting. I want to see how they handle it. Maybe Ash will end up getting a trade. I doubt it. I really doubt it, but you never know, since Ash will probably be there as well. I hope it's not just, oh, I trade Pinsir. Oh man, I miss my Pinsir when Go never uses his Pinsir.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's a bit of a wimp anyway. Even like, when he went to the battlefront, he didn't want to battle.
Exactly. Like I hope there's a bit more to it. Like if he does get his Pinsir back, I do hope he like, let's say he trades his Dustox to get the Beautifly that he wanted, or he has so many Pokemon he could trade to just get something out of it, not just I miss my Pinsir that I don't even spend time with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's had Pokemon here and there that he's obviously spent a lot of time with, such as Sobble, Farfetch, Cypher, but Pinsir we've rarely seen much from it. So I don't. If it was like a full parallel to the Butterfree episode, I'd rather it be a Pokemon he's actually bonded with first of all, instead of just Pinsir who's been down in the background. But
Raboot for Riolu, it's time, boys.
Oh,
it's gonna happen. Phenomenon.
There it is. There's the Raboot joke, and there's the bomb phenomenon joke. I knew both were coming at some point in this podcast. Jesus Christ. But yeah, as for me, this episode, it looks decent. I'm hoping that regardless of the summary, that we do get to see Go, get rid of his extra Pokemon he's got there, such as those Dustox, so he can get something else in return that he doesn't have yet. That'd be pretty cool to add to the tracker of Pokemon and all of that. So yeah, but other than that, that's what I've really got to say about this episode pretty much. Because the original theory of Scizor has been pretty much buried in the ground at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah. Raph, what about you?
Pretty much what Zach said. I don't think. Well, of course, the Scizor thing ain't gonna happen now. It would have been nice if it did. Maybe for him to understand about trades and evolutionary items, for him to actually like progress a bit further with Cypher, because Cypher does seem to be the one Pokemon that he uses a lot in rotation now. Apart from that, it's probably just going to be, like Zach said, an episode where he trades Pinsir, has a little moment, is like, oh, I want it back, or maybe he does trade it permanently and gets the counterpart Heracross, but we haven't seen any sign of Heracross to be known in that, so it's probably out of the window with that. But apart from that, it'd probably just be one of those episodes where he feels remorse. I want my Pokemon back. He learns about it. Then, has a little hug with Pinsir. Oh, I promise to always, look after you. All of that shit. And, something that's really sentimental. But who knows?
It's interesting to know that it could be 2 Go-focused episodes in a row as well. That's pretty interesting.
Well, we had the 3 for Kaharu. we've had the 2 for Go, and then the one after that is just 1 for Ash. Oh wait, Ash gets it all the time, yeah.
But speaking of the next episode, boys, is the B episode, which the summary states, quote, Ash and Go are visiting the fighting dojo in Saffron City with the intent of challenging the karate master, who's the dojo master, to a Pokemon battle. But it turns out he's just lost to a fighter-type gym leader from the Galar region. End quote. And then after this summary as well, we got some images released of B just doing a fighting pose and Grapplot battling against Riolu, and that Grapplot looks very weird to me. I've only made tweets on Twitter about it. It looks like it comes straight out of a cartoon instead of an anime because of how it's drawn there. But yeah, straight away I'll just jump into my thoughts here. I thought it would be pretty obvious that before we got those images as well, that one, Ash would indeed be battling B in this episode, and that's kind of hype, not gonna lie. She's definitely one of my favorite Gala gym leaders, and will definitely push Riolu to the edge, which I thought Riolu would indeed battle as well. But I'm hoping, when we get the actual episode, that this will end up being a 2v2, just so we can see Farfetch'd have its first full battle alongside Riolu as well, because sure, Riolu's had that battle against that Lieutenant Surge gym leader guy thing, but this will be, you know, a full battle we'll actually be able to see. So yeah, and I know Raph is kind of hoping that Ash will lose against B here as well, so you know, you can explain your thoughts regarding that.
Yeah, I've been going on about it all day today on Twitter, so I thought, why not bring it up for the perfect occasion for this? To be honest, like, I can understand the whole concept. People want Ash to beat B, you know, they want him to be on a winning streak, etc., etc. But I think that with Riolu being like one of the focuses, depending, of course, if it is a 2v2 battle, I think that he should lose. Now, ever since Riolu's been, you know, the main focus for Ash, he's been constantly training, he's been constantly wanting to win, and he has been winning apart from obviously that one occasion with Team Rocket when Pikachu got captured. And I just think it would be a good plot point for both of them for just a bit more development. Yes, they're developing now during training, and Ash is looking after Riolu, and Riolu's been shown here and there, but Riolu hasn't actually had that little setback yet for it to understand what it feels like to lose. And then this could actually just bring out future plot points for it to like get better, the friendship between him and Ash bond even better, and then before you know it, we're going to get the evolution for the Lucario. I just think that with the way that this battle could be set out, like, for example, look at that Grapplot. It looks, whilst you did say it looks really weird, Ben, it looks really menacing, and, like, it could probably thrash Riolu if it's been, like, come on, it's a gym leader's Pokemon. B's no joke around in Galar, like, especially if she's taken on Leon before as well. And the thing is, like, people really underestimate the Galar gym leaders. Like, I've been seeing some comments today, and I'm going to call them out, literally. I don't get it. Like,
oh,
they
God.
They think that, you know, Riolu can one-shot Grapplot, and I'm thinking, what? Because it done it with Electabuzz before, even though that was obviously screen shown.
Yeah.
What? Like, it's just a bit. I think it's a bit OTT. But the main thing is, I believe, it's just a good opportunity, kickstart some development for both of them, inevitably coinciding with the evolution that's going to come. And if he does lose, then good, he'll be able to learn something. If he wins, fine, that's cool. But I would rather see him lose in a certain occasion like this. Of course, there's loads of other opportunities that he could lose against other people, but this could be the first time before Ash has to like elevate into the hyper class. He sets himself like a sort of little challenge arc to try and see if he can beat B, and then, you know, push himself higher, and we'll probably get a Lucario by then.
Yeah. And I was saying this on Twitter as well. What better way to make Ash lose than by a new gym leader he's never battled before, compared to all the random trainers on the street he's been battling so far, and that one old gym leader, which was Karina. This is an entirely new trainer to him, so I would love it to simply be B because of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Zach, what about you? What do you think of this episode?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with basically everything you guys said. I love the whole aspect of like, oh, Ash losing. I mean, it's not that I want him to lose, because some people complain on Twitter, oh, why do you want Ash to lose? It's so tired of losing
all day, literally.
Like, there's nothing wrong with him losing if it like leads to something better. Like, I feel like one of my favorite, like, just like a tiny tangent, but like one of my favorite gym battles in the Sinnoh series is the first one where Ash went up against Rourke and he lost in front of Paul because he was trying to like show him up after Paul just got his win. I love that battle just because he lost and they made him had to like strategize and come up with a better battle plan, and he did great the following time he battled him. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, of course, nobody wants to see him lose like against the way he did against Cameron or Tobias or fucking Trip. Like, that's stupid. But, you know, for story purposes, this would be a good time to lose. I mean, I want him to win all the time, let's be honest. But, you know, in the storytelling purpose, for story purposes, it would be a good idea to make him lose just because, for one thing, this is a Galar gym leader, but she's in Kanto. Like, initially, I thought this episode was going to be in Galar because, Ash goes there. Why would a Galar gym leader be in Kanto? But it's also cool because we're going to also get to see a Galar gym leader battle without using Dynamax because she can't Dynamax. She's going to show her full strength without having to use that. You know what I mean?
More reason for it to be crazy.
Like, people complain like, you know, Dynamax is so easy. Like, it's so uninteresting. Well, now we're going to see what Galar trainers can do without Dynamax. And it seems like they're hyping her up considering she beat the Karate Master in the dojo. And I could see a scenario where Ash, let's say he does lose. This is going to motivate him to train a little, like more development for him and Riolu, and then maybe a rematch when he goes to Galar, and then there she uses Dynamax, like let's say a Gigantamax Machamp or something like that, because we're going to have to see it eventually anyways, if they want to show up every Pokemon. So this would be the perfect scenario. I could see her coming back. And it's also like, it's so fitting that they use B when you think about it, because like, this is the second fighting type gym leader Ash is battling, and Riolu's going to be involved. This is like perfect development for Riolu. So whether he wins or loses, this is definitely going to be a Riolu episode. Yeah, for the fighting types. But I also really hope we get development for Ash's Farfetch'd, because he's super cool, and I don't like how he's used as a punching bag right now. Like, he's just kind of there to help Riolu get stronger, but like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I would love to see it like get stronger, and you know, not saying it's gonna evolve or anything, but this could be a good development for him as well. Maybe get a win, because we haven't seen it in an official battle yet. Yeah, all of Ash's Pokemon have. So I'm really hoping it's 2v2, even though the focus is on Grapploct. I hope it's like 2v2. Let's say Ash and his Riolu and Farfetch lose, so then he uses them in the rematch later on, and maybe by then they're evolved later in the series. Like, that would be a cool way to tie everything back together. But
that'd be cool, actually, like saving the battle till many episodes later instead of just like 2 episodes later, for example. That'd be a really cool twist, actually.
Yeah, that's so cool. And also another interesting thing is about, what is it, the Karate Master.
He's a character of the day.
He's a character of the day, which is interesting. I'm like, first of all, it's interesting that we're going back to the fighting dojo, because we've seen it before in the Battle Frontier saga. You know what I mean? And now Ash is going back, and I'm wondering if some of the characters from that episode will be there, because the whole plot was like, the dojo master wanted to leave so he can run a noodle shop, and he wanted his son to take over, but he wanted to do noodles as well, but they left it to like the girl or whatever who was training. I wonder if she's still there. And the fact that the karate master's there, I don't think it's the same one who left. It seems like it is this character of the day, which is interesting. Our first, like, I guess, character of the day that comes back. Does it count as character of the day anymore if he came back now? He's a
not really character. He's just a recurring character,
yeah.
So, like, real quick, it's like, it's interesting because the way they introduced him in the anime, he wasn't really involved with the dojo, but they kind of handled him the same way you do in the games. Like, he's not the karate dojo master. It's so fucking confusing. The karate master in the games, in the Gold and Silver games, he's not in the dojo in Saffron City. You have to find him at Mount Modar, I think it is. Mount Modar or something like that, between, Ekritique and fucking Price's gym. And that's where he was in the anime. So, like, it's kind of tying into the game. So now you can finally see him at his element, maybe make the connection. Oh, he was here all along. I don't know. It's just cool, the idea that maybe this is the same character of the day. And if they bring him back, that's dope.
I was going to say that I remember... we were originally talking about that. Well, I would say to you guys that, I believe some character of the days were returned, and you guys were like, nah. But now look what's happening. We could potentially see the return. I just wanted to mention that as well. We'll obviously later into this podcast talk about more returning characters as well. But yeah, overall, this is definitely the most hype episode of the bunch, I would say. I'm definitely looking really forward to this episode. And even if Ash doesn't lose against B, for example, I'm sure it'll still be a cool battle regardless. Each World Coronation Series battle that hasn't been against a randomer have been pretty cool so far. Alright, so the next episode we've got here, boys, is the I Got Pikachu episode, which the summary states, quote, Go wants to get his own Pikachu, so he heads straight for a place where there's said to be an outbreak of them. there he counters a whole lot of Pikachu. End quote. And I'll start with my thoughts here. So straight away on Twitter, everybody feels like Go will actually be going to the Pikachu Valley in the Alola region on Akala Island. And I personally don't think that will happen, because I feel like the first episode where Ash would go to Alola, he would be on Meli Meli Island before any other island. And he would want to go there first, even if he has to do a mission on another island, just so he can say hi to Kukri and all of that. I truly believe that would be the case. So that's why I don't think it would be the Pikachu Valley area, but rather...
I mean, they also would say it's Alola. They always emphasize whenever they're going to a different region. They wouldn't just say, they're going to a place with Pikachu. Oh, by the way, it's Alola.
Yeah, exactly. So what I think's going on here is that Ash could be like, oh, I know a place where there is a lot of Pikachu near Vermilion City. And then he takes Go to the area where he almost said goodbye to Pikachu in the episode titled Goodbye Pikachu. So that's the place I think they're referencing there. We could maybe get another, Kanto flashback. But yeah, that's why I think Go will be getting his Pikachu. And as for in regards to how I feel with Go getting his own Pikachu, I feel like it's a little bit too early on in the series. I feel like it would be later down the series if he was to truly, take over Ash as the main protagonist. But still, I guess I could do. I guess it's fine seeing it here, but I would have preferred if it was later down the line. And hopefully it does have a personality in exactly like Pikachu's as well. But Zach, what do you have to say about this episode?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, because it does feel like it's too early, especially since Go doesn't really give that much attention. I don't want to say attention. That sounds pretty shitty, but his Pokemon don't really get that much shine besides Rabu and now Sabo. And Sabo, he just caught it, and it hasn't really gotten that much focus since he's caught it. He's just kind of been with Go on the sidelines, which is fine, but you know what I mean? So it seems weird. If you're going to catch a Pikachu, I feel like that's just going to overshadow everything he has. He's like, oh shit, he caught the mascot of the fucking series. Yeah. He's like Ash now. That's going to be the talk of the town. And who the fuck cares about Rabu and Sabo when Go caught a fucking Pikachu? You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. What I see happening, which is unfortunate. Like, I feel like Team Rocket are definitely going to be in this episode.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
it's always like that. They're going to be like, oh, lots of Pikachu. Let's catch the Pikachu.
And then one special one goes to Go or some shit like that.
Yeah, like Go befriends one or something like that. He helps, like, let's say they use, the stereotypical Team Rocket scenario. There's a bunch of Pikachus, and they missed one, and Go befriends it. Like, I'll help your friends, or it seems like I know where this is going. It seems very predictable, because it's happened before. Whenever we get like a Pikachu or even Pichu focused episode where there's like a bunch of them. But yeah, there's not really much else for me to say other than that. Like, I just see him, like, I don't see him catching one straight away. If he's gonna catch one, he's probably gonna befriend one throughout the episode. That's it. But I still feel like it's a little too soon for Pikachu. But it all depends on how they handle it.
One thing I do want to happen, though, if he does end up catching a Pikachu, I want it to be a female one. I want it to be a nice counterpart to Ash's. Maybe they could build a nice little relationship themselves between them, like how obviously Go and Ash are slowly building up their friendship even more and more as the time goes by.
And then they live happily ever after.
And they live back
to Kangaskhan.
Yeah, literally it. But yeah, overall, pretty much what Zach said, hit the nail on the head with everything. But I just really hope that if Go does get one, he has maybe like a special variant compared to Ash's, or at the least a female one. Or maybe he could even get a male one as well. And then maybe it could be just like a legit like copy of the relationship Ash and Go have together, Pikachu and Pikachu, like that. Maybe Ash's Pikachu will mentor like Go's Pikachu, just like how Ash is doing to Go, especially during the circumstances he has during battles or awkward situations where Pokemon get captured by Team Rocket, like for example what happened with the Subway episode. But hard to tell at the moment. I guess we're just gonna have to find out real soon.
Yeah, like I definitely expect, let's say if Go is to catch one, it's gonna have a completely different personality from Ash's, just to separate the two, because I feel like it would be a little bit redundant. I feel like this one would definitely be like a female. That's a good way to contrast from Ash's, or like maybe have like an edgy personality, or just like, I don't know, a more stubborn personality than Ash's, because Ash's is just very like, he's kind of like Ash. He's very loyal. He's kind of basic, no offense, but I do like Pikachu. I feel like it'll be interesting because kind of like throwing it back to the Pikachu Valley episode, there was a lot of different Pikachus with different like hairstyles and personalities. That would be cool if Go were to catch one. Yeah. To get something like that that's very distinct and unique to him, and not just Ash's Pikachu 2.0. You know what I mean? Holy shit! I just thought of something. What if the twist is like Go's trying to catch a Pikachu, but then he ends up catching a Raichu? Actually,
I was gonna say that. I was literally gonna say,
like the gang member, the leader.
If Go wants to catch every single Pokemon in the series, he needs a Raichu at some point. But at the same time, if we really do feel like Go is gonna take over as Ash for the protagonist one day, then you'll need a Pikachu alongside him because Pikachu's the mascot of the franchise. But if we ought to put that theory aside at the moment and just focus on him completing the Pokédex, then yeah, Raichu would seem more likely, And I remember seeing a theory on Twitter once that what if Go's Pikachu or whatever he ends up catching could end up evolving into the Alolan Raichu, because he does need variants as well, the Pikachu doesn't need to come from Alola to only evolve into Alolan Raichu. It can come from anywhere and then still evolve in Alola. It's just wherever the regional forms come from, So I could see that happening at the same time, but at the same time, it could just be the Pancake Girls Raichu or whatever, because we've already been established at that one.
It's how Raichu.
Oh, that too, I forgot about him.
The return.
Of course.
Forget about rivals. Yeah, exactly.
Poor How.
How could you forget about How?
Finally, we're coming to episode 36, which is Crawl Out the Sand Tomb, Ash and Go. The summary states, quote, "Ever since his battle against B, Ash has kept performing poorly in official battles. Meanwhile, a strange massive sandstorm has started blowing in Morval City in the Hoenn region. This sandstorm supposedly lures people inside it with a beautiful song. Ash and Go head there to investigate and find out if this is the work of a yet-to-be-discovered Pokemon. And as they go up against the mystery of the sandstorm, they eventually end up battling the powerful Pokemon Flygon. But as the Flygon uses its speed to toy with Ash, Go tries a surprising tactic." End quote. And, boys. First of all, I just want to say straight away that back in 2018, I made a video titled Top 10 Pokemon I Want Ash Ketchum to Catch. Lucario was on that list. Are we getting Lucario? Unfortunately, we haven't got Eevee to this day. But Flygon was also on that list. He was towards the lower end of the list, around number 8 or 7 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So I really do hope Ash actually ends up getting Flygon. But at the same time, the summary does emphasize Go having a surprising tactic. But at the same time, I don't think that necessarily means Go will catch it, because obviously we've seen Ash and Go team up before against Golurk, and they both wanted to get it, but they were like, alright, whoever gets it first gets to keep it, and obviously Go got it first, so I could totally see it being a situation like that. But yeah, I'll pass on the thoughts to one of you next. Sak, you start with how you feel about this episode and the whole Flygon thing so far.
Ooh. So kind of like similar story to what you did. You said you made the top 10 Pokemon you want Ash to catch. I made a similar video earlier this year once we found out about Ash and the possibility of him catching older gen Pokemon, and Flygon is also on my list. I believe it's number 6. I didn't expect him to catch him, which is why he's pretty like kind of mid in the list, because he already has Dragonite, but he has 2 fighting types now. So you don't know with this series. So like I'm definitely hyped with that. But I'm trying to keep my expectations low, because I don't want to go into the episode thinking, oh, Flygon, Ash is going to get Flygon. And then if Go catches it, fuck Go. I hate Go. He catches all the good Pokemon. You know what I mean? I try to be optimistic, be realistic, just accept it any way it is. But, I try to go for that negative outcome in my mind. So, I'll be prepared for it. But just based off of the episode summary alone, first of all, when we first had the initial summaries of the rough translations, it was hard to tell. It implied that Ash might lose to B or whatever, and he's feeling down. But this one straight up says he's been performing poorly in official battles, meaning his loss against B is affecting his performance and is making him lose even more battles, which probably like making him lose his ranking. So this is like an interesting arc for him now. That's super interesting. And the reason why I feel like, even though I don't want to get my hopes up, it seems like Ash will be the more likely person to catch Flygon, is because since the episode is emphasizing, starting off with Ash is in a bit of a slump right now, and he's even struggling with Flygon, maybe this episode is supposed to be the comeback of Ash, of how he's supposed to bounce back and get back to his old self, like by beating a powerful Flygon and maybe even catching it and adding on to his team. That's definitely gonna increase, his confidence and everything. Even though it's like, oh, Go might have a tactic or whatever, it could imply, like, make you think, oh shit, maybe Go's got something. Go's got the upper hand. He's gonna catch it. But just the way it's set up, like Ash is doing bad, it only makes sense that this episode is gonna address that and bring our boy back around. I don't think he's gonna be like it's kind of similar to his loss against Paul in Lake Acuity, where he kind of had a slump, and then that episode after was just about him trying to get his confidence again. I feel like this is the type of episode they're kind of going for.
Yeah. Raph, what about you, bro?
Well, I can happily say I'm probably the only Anipoke bro that hasn't made a video that they want Ash to catch Pokemon. But even though I made a team prediction, that doesn't count anyway. Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed, of course. Then from this summary itself, that Ash does lose to be, and like Zach mentioned, this could be like a great motivation to get his spirits back up again after the constant loss that it. Like it's like what it says is being performing poorly in official battles continuously or something like that. But Flygon, yeah, a great pick for a Pokemon that we all believe that Ash should get, maybe will get, who knows. The thing that's concerning me a bit is about the surprise tactic. Like, we don't know if maybe this is going to be something like Golurk, where it's a raid battle and like Go snaps the catch later on because maybe he wanted to catch a different Pokemon. But come on, Go's been catching all of these other Pokemon as well. He's got them at the lab, and it wouldn't make sense for him to have such a cool Pokemon like Flygon just chilling there, unless if he actually
sit there.
Yeah, it just literally does nothing. Just sits on a tree, like protecting over the lab with Golurk. But this is the thing, like if it's actually going to be something meaningful for Go, then cool, yeah. But he's not doing that right now, so it makes all the more sense for Ash to catch it. Like Zach said, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but it's looking interesting. We'll probably have to wait and see when we do the live reaction to the episode, but it's going to be fun. Like, more we'll see. We're going back to Hoenn again, but Hoenn's cool. It's better than Kanto, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, I also see like a possible scenario. Let's say Ash doesn't catch it, because we still got to keep our expectations low. Just in case.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Go does catch it. The only thing I kind of see happening with Ash, though, is like maybe he does still have like that bounce back storyline for this episode, and like whatever strategy he uses that helps him get the advantage against Flygon is what helps Ash, bounce back, and he comes up with the new battle strategies. Like, oh shit, maybe I can try this for my next World Championship match. But or maybe actually it seems possible, maybe like, because it seems like because Ash is doing poorly in his battles because of his loss, that's why he sucks against Flygon. Maybe Go comes up with an idea, but he can't pull it off well enough because he doesn't have the experience of Ash, and then that's what kind of like ignites a moment where you're like, oh, we need you, Ash. Like, come on, you can try this. And he does whatever strategy Go does, and then Go. But the Ash version where he catches Flygon. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, it's a shame about Trace Theory though, because he predicted Cinderace to maybe evolve in episode 35 and 36. So
yeah, but like I think it's totally possible though, still, because since they mentioned Ghost Tactic or whatever, maybe his strategy could help like his Raboot evolve. Let's say he has an idea, he can't pull it off, and then Cinderace evolve, and then that would justify like Ash's capture for Flygon. So they both walk away with new Pokemon. Ash with Flygon, Go with Raboot, instead of fucking Go with Flygon and Ash gets nothing. You know what I mean?
Tactics revealed.
So that might be it. That I don't know, because I mean more coming later on about Cinderace, but yeah, like
we kind of spoiled it.
Something's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
If Ash does end up getting Flygon, it's definitely going to be one of those reactions where I end up screaming at the top of my lungs, and what makes... I just realized what you meant there. What makes these captures even more great for me, like especially with Farfetch, we thought it was going to go, and it looks like with Flygon, it's looking like that again. So for it to do a 180 and go to Ash instead, that's what makes the reaction so much more greater to me as well. I really like it when Pokemon Journeys does this. But regardless of that, I do also want to mention that in regards to why I do think Ash will get Flygon though, but again, we will keep our expectations low just in case. But anyway, the episode before this one, we of course just discussed the Pikachu episode, and Go is looking for a Pikachu. So, I wouldn't expect to go capture episodes back to back. Yeah, sure, he kind of does it in every single episode, but this is a major capture. And yes, we've seen Ash get major captures back to back as well in old series, such as Froakie to Fletchling or something like that. But that was like towards the start of the series as well. We're coming towards the end of season 1 here. And again, you guys made a very good point about how Flygon is a very powerful Pokemon. And that also brings me to my second point. Some people are a little bit upset that Ash is getting 2 Dragon types and also has 2 Fighting types on his team. But to me personally, I don't mind this whatsoever, because when Riolu evolves, it will introduce the Steel type in anyway. And if Ash does get Dragonite, he has a ground typing on that Flygon as well. So he's still bringing 2 new types into this, and they are still different compared to the other Pokemon that share a type with them. And compared to Univert, where Ash had a rotation team, I think he's going to have a rotation team in Journeys again. I feel like we're still going to get to see Ash switch all these Pokemon back and forth. So he wouldn't have both dragons on at the same time if he is to actually have a rotation team, if you get what I mean. So he could actually end up balancing his team that way as well. So that's why I also don't see it as that big of a deal as well.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, as in regards to Mobile City as well, I'm really hoping we do get to see the Oras redesign here as well, because obviously so far in Journeys we've seen old locations get some sleek modern looks, such as the Vermilion Gym, that place
innovation
where Raboot was going to say bye-bye. I can't remember which region they were in for that episode.
Little Root.
Yes, Hoenn. So yeah, I really hope we do get to see the Oras design for Mobile City there, especially because I liked it a lot more compared to the original as well. So yeah, there's just some little detail I wanted to add it onto there as well, to be honest. So the final point I wanted to bring up as well is Ash's return in Pokemon. I feel like that's going to be a Season 2 thing. So for those people who are like, oh, I wish he could stop getting new captures at the moment because I want to see old Pokemon return, we're still getting introduced to the series, just remember that, because we're still in Season 1, but I feel like starting Season 2, we will start to see old Pokemon return here and there as well. And even when Pokemon have returned in the past as well, for example with the Sinnoh League, Ash still had his Sinnoh team there as well. So he needs to still build at least a team of 6 for this current series as well.
And like in Hoenn, in Gen 3, Ash didn't bring back his older Pokemon to Battle Frontier the last season. Whenever he does bring them back, it's usually at the last season, near the end of the series, because they want the first good chunk of the series to focus on the new Pokemon. It wouldn't make sense, you know what I mean? So it's probably that, to be honest. That's what they've always done.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there we go. There's our thoughts on all the upcoming titles so far. So let's now move on to some future speculation, starting with old characters returning. Raph, I'll allow you to elaborate on this.
Okay, so, as you guys know, of course, I managed to speak to Ash and Serena, big up them as well for always providing us with the latest info, and they were mentioning about how this article obviously explains that old characters from the past are going to be returning. We'll talk about the opening and the visuals later on, of course, but the main thing that they were bringing up was about how they were talking about past characters from all of the seasons could potentially be returning. It's not just about companions. So obviously we've had Karina so far. We've had a little flashback of Surge and stuff. But it's going to be quite exciting to see if Ash has to elevate in the rankings and then take on another past trainer. Like, he's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you for a while. Oh yeah, I'm just competing in the World Coronation. Oh god, I can't believe I called it that. Wow. And I'm taking part in the World Championships. And yeah, for real. And I need to take you on. Oh, maybe he needs to get into the Hyperclass to take on, I don't know, maybe he will actually take on Surge to get into the Hyperclass. Or it could be just someone completely different. Everyone's going, Serena, Lily, May, Dawn. Maybe it could be. But from the terminology that Ash and Serena was mentioning, they were mainly talking about just characters in general. It didn't specifically say our companions, and I'm not going to be rude, but I don't know where the hell people are getting Pokemon from, because nothing in that interview said Pokemon. So pipe down a little bit, please.
Shut up, Greninja fanboys.
Oh, there it is. I didn't have to mention it, but still, Yeah, returning characters. It's going to be exciting. Like, we've already seen one return, and they had a big part in, obviously, Ash's
Two,
plot
actually.
and development. Oh, yeah, two, of course, yes.
Gherkin.
Yeah, Gherkin. Yeah, that's true. All 2-in-1 episode. There we go.
Exactly.
Who knows? We might even get 2-in-1 in another episode. Maybe May and Max might come back.
Ew,
together.
not Max. Fuck Max.
Keep him in Hoenn, yeah.
Some people would be happy, but yeah, I keep repeating it, but it's just so unpredictable. Zach, what do you think?
See, like, I mean, I'm excited for it because I feel like when it comes to bringing characters back, I hope they bring them back with a purpose, and so far it seems like they're doing that. We had the flashback to Surge, and that's like hinting to like a rematch. That probably explains why Ash made the switch against, what is it, Viscus's Raichu? We didn't get the Vice keys or whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, Ash was battling her, and then we were expecting Pikachu versus Raichu, but then Ash made the switch, right? And then Gengar took it out. That was a nice twist, and I think they did that now because they want to save Pikachu versus Raichu for Lieutenant Surge and Ash. You know what I mean? Like something down the line. It's like he's not in the gym because he's training, so he has a replacement. Yeah. Also, we had Karina return and Gherkin, and they served the purpose of reintroducing Mega Evolution and then also setting up Riolu, which was done right. Like, I love the fact that it's not just bringing back characters just for like the pandering and for the nostalgia, but it's like to add on to the story. Gherkin was there as a side character to talk about Mega Evolution to Go, which I fucking love that they did that. That was so good. He didn't need to be in the episode, but they did that just to like help Go grow and learn a bit more about Pokemon. So I hope when they bring back other characters, they do it as well, just like trainers at Ash battles to help elevate his ranking and stuff like that. And I'm gonna like kind of pass it on to Ben real quick, like let you talk now with the next point I'm gonna say now, because I know you're gonna go off with this, but like
I know
with the fact
yeah,
with the fact that they're talking about like other characters returning, what seems the most likely now, just like characters and whatchamacallit, companions in general to return, it seems likely that we're going to get the Alola gang to come back because Alola's the only region left that we haven't visited. It makes sense why they make this statement, because if we go back to Alola, there's no way in hell Ash isn't going to go to Alola and not see those characters. So it's like they're probably the next in line to be featured in an episode to come back, and as well as then introduce Alola to this new series, you know. So I'll pass it off to you, Ben, now.
Yes, precisely. I've been repeating that a lot in podcasts, in reactions and reviews, on Twitter. I've been hammering it down people's brains that we would definitely 100% see some of the Alola characters, especially because, like you said, when Ash goes to Alola, he cannot avoid them. He knows everyone in Alola, even on the other islands, Akala, Ula, and Pony, just because he's pretty much explored every corner. We know even the recurring characters, we're probably going to see them in the background, not have interactions, but we'll see them in the background as well. So yeah, when it comes to them saying, oh, old characters will be returning, Alola does always come to my mind first, because it makes the most logical sense because of everything we've stated there. Sure, it didn't say companions, but it's just impossible for not to see that in Alola, and I mean, seen...
technically, the Alola gang aren't companions, they're Ash's classmates.
Exactly.
Kui doesn't count as a companion, he's just there. Ash lived with him and Burnett. They're not companions, but they're characters. Maybe that's why they worded it that way, I don't know.
We'll say Ash's friends.
Terminology, yeah.
I feel like the way this news came out is very convenient, considering Alola's the next region, the only region left to revisit, so it's like, it makes sense. We're gonna see older characters when we go to Alola because of how like engraved into Alola's culture Ash was, and how like involved in everything he was there, like you said, Ben. So it's like, it only makes sense. Like, even if it's like one character, the Melee Island fruit lady, like that's an old character. Like, you can't in Alola. I'm sorry, and because like stuff that we've talked about before, but I feel like in the anime they did a good job of like showing off everything in Alola, and the region feels not, I don't want to say it's small, but it's like just the fact that it feels very close. So it's like Ash has been in every, like you said, been in every corner. He's been in every island with his trial. So it's like anywhere, any location he goes to, it's just like it's somewhere we've been before, and probably someone he knows there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Obviously, when it comes to Ash's classmates, the only classmate that is still on Melee Island, unless the others have returned, is Mallow. So yeah, Mallow would be the most likely one there, unless Lily returns or whatever. I still want to see the whole, her meeting Mon on screen though, because they just left her on a cliffhanger there. Kukui and Burnett is obvious, especially because Dusk Lycanroc is in the ending, which of course he lives with Kukui and Burnett. So, you know, we've got to see them surely, and I'm pretty sure Kukui would be the one to reveal to Go. Well, not reveal to Go, but say to Ash, "Welcome back, champion." And then that's when Go will be like, "Huh?"
That's when he'll freak out.
Yeah,
and it's like
the trophies in his room in the last episode. Okay.
Yeah, he was on the top bunk as well. Like, bro, he got the perfect view, and he still didn't even see them little butch. But yeah, Ben, it's funny you bring that up about the champion thing, because obviously you've been bragging on to us about it as well. Maybe for the 1 year anniversary, if they go to Alola, boom.
Oh yes, I remember sending you guys a voice message about that. Yeah, the anniversary.
Oh my God, you're right. Holy shit.
The anniversary of Ash winning the Alola League is September 15th. However, if we were to put into terms of COVID-19, the episode where they go to Alola could possibly happen in around November, but that would have originally aired in September though if COVID-19 never happened. So yeah, it would have lined in perfectly with the anniversary for Ash winning the league as well, to give it a full circle, pretty much. I'd have really appreciated that small detail. It's gonna happen in season 1 as well, because we have seen Alola in the opening as well. And I've always said this as well, it's an end of season 1 thing, because as Saka said in the past before as well, Alola was the latest region before the series, so it makes sense to save that for the last region we see.
And the perfect occasion.
When you think about it, Alola's definitely coming soon, not just because obviously it's the only region left, but when you think in terms of every other series, whenever old companions come back, and eventually, like obviously we're gonna see some old characters in Alola. It's usually like in the 40s is the earliest, and we're just past episode 30. So who knows? Maybe in 10 more episodes, we'll get that first Alola episode. And then I feel like my theory, my idea is that like after we finally get that initial Alola episode, because we know they've been kind of holding back because it'll be way too soon to have Ash leave Alola and then like, the first 10 episodes of the new series he's back. After that emotional goodbye, it would kind of cheapen that. So it makes sense why they're holding back on that. I feel like after we get the first visit to Alola, then that's when the series is really going to take off. And I feel like that's what might contribute to the new intro, because now they're really going to push home that we're traveling to every region. Because even though we are technically seeing every region, a lot of it, like 50% of the series is in Kanto. So I feel like after we finally get our Alola episode, now we're gonna go like Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, like back to back different regions, and really like explore everything, not just chill at Park. You know what I mean? They're taking their time to establish the characters. Go's got enough development. He's got a Raboot that evolved, and Cinderella's coming soon. We've got some Chloe development now. She's been getting like 3 episodes in a row now.
Yeah.
Now that everything's established and we finally got that Alola episode, that seems like a good way to end the first season of this series. And now season 2 is where we're really gonna like go crazy and do like awesome shit and lots of adventures, not just sit at the fucking Cerise Park.
Bring on some of the arcs and stuff. Yeah.
Bring back more characters, because they said when characters come back, they said older characters are coming back like one after another. So it's not just like one here and there. Like no, there's gonna be more and more and more. Like this is just the beginning, you know what I mean? Like we still have a good like 2.5 years to go for this series. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm pretty sure shit's gonna get even crazier the more we get into this, you know?
Precisely. And as I've said, and even though as I've said before, this series feels like a combination of both Sun and Moon and XY. The Sun and Moon elements just pretty much being the slice of life in Vermilion City. They can't keep catching Pokemon in Vermilion City though, because we've pretty much seen every Pokemon that lives around there, and it's just simply Rattatas, Meowths, and Go already has pretty much almost all of them there. So he has to...
everything.
He's gonna catch every cancel Pokemon in Vermilion City.
Imagine. Jesus Christ, even Moltres. I mean, Lugia always seems to like hanging around there.
Oh my god.
But, yeah, I mean, regardless of, like, just the companion talk as well, yeah, other characters definitely more appear as well, because we've seen Gherkin. I don't know, just some random characters such as, I don't know, let's try to think of a first random character to pop in our head who's not a companion.
Casey.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that could be something. Yeah, rivals are a possibility. Yeah, was she an Ash rival? Kind of, yes and no.
But for the incident that they were involved in, yeah, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, and then just like gym leaders we could see again, like, I don't know, Chuck or whatever. Don't know why he was the first gym leader that came to my mind, but whatever. Regardless of that, yeah, I think that's all we've got to see on old returning characters pretty much. So let's talk about the opening visual changes.
It's basically just the same theme song. 1, 2, 3 with banter teammates. New visual. And it's probably just gonna update it, like maybe show off some of the new Pokemon that Ash and Go have caught in the series so far and stuff like that. Maybe more characters, because something cool that I wish they do, that I hope they do, if they're really gonna bring back older companions and characters. It's like kind of like an older series, how we'd get like a montage of some of the older characters that Ash has traveled with. Like I remember in Diamond and Pearl and AG, we would see Misty and Tracy in the background and stuff like that. Even characters who aren't main characters, but they're part of Ash's journey, they show up. So maybe with the talks of older characters coming back, that could just be like an update. We get to see some of the characters who are going to be appearing or play a major role. Obviously see new additions like Riolu, who might evolve into Lucario, and Go Cinderace. But more on that later. But one of the biggest things I'm kind of hoping for, and I'm sure more people are hoping for as well, is just the addition of Chloe into the main gang of Ash and Go. And like one of the biggest things, it's like how they have that little visual making a reference to the ending credits of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It's like Go and Ash are walking, they're looking around the world and stuff, and then Chloe, there's like a gap between them. So she's with them, but she's not totally with them. So maybe they can close the gap and just have more visuals with her along with Ash and Go, which would be so cool, especially since we've been getting more episodes dedicated to her. We just had episode 29 was the Yamper episode. Mm-hmm. And then Chloe made an appearance in episode 30, and she even gave Ash some advice about how to handle Pikachu and its jealousy. And then now it's gonna be jealousy, and it's gonna be in episode 31 with her brother and stuff like that. And I thought it was just gonna be like the episode was gonna be about her brother. She wasn't gonna play a role in it, but she seems to be pretty active in there with the whole Feebas storyline. So like she's definitely getting more development and more interest in Pokemon. So I wouldn't be surprised that like this new intro, the updated intro, is just to reflect the next phase of this series, the season 2, I would say, like kind of traveling more to every region after Alola, and like just the inclusion of Chloe now that she's got a firmer goal and now that she's part of the group.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense to me. And then if she does, tag along with Ash and Go for once now, then we could see there's definitely more opportunities for storylines such as, and I hope to God she doesn't become a coordinator, but we could say, can we check out this Pokemon contest, and then we'll get to learn about contests again or whatnot, That'd be,
and then that's how you bring back someone like May or Dawn to like
exactly
contests to Go and
the returning characters. There we go. It all comes together. They
come back with a purpose, and not just here because look at them, remember them. Like they're here to like introduce a concept or like just to help progress our characters and develop them a bit more.
Yeah. And then to those people who are like kind of complaining that we're not getting a new song, well, the only reason Sun and Moon got a second opening so quickly was because it was the 20th anniversary, and that was only temporary. They went straight back to the first opening with visual changes.
The same thing.
The 20th anniversary ended. So yeah, this is exactly the same thing here, just a visual change. And then around the 50s or 60s, we'll finally get our second opening, much like how that was the case for XY as well, because we had different versions of Volt, and then we got Getter Ban during the 50s and 60s. So yeah, but enough about that. Let's now move on to our final main topic for today, which is merchandise. And so one very important piece of merchandise that got revealed lately was merchandise revolving around Lucario, which is hype, We all knew Riolu was going to evolve into Lucario as well, regardless. But we've also got Cinderace in the same merchandise line as Lucario, battling Lucario as well in the toy mechanic thing. So yeah, there's a possibility. Well, no, I'm pretty sure it is Go Cinderace, and I'm not too happy how quick this is. Not gonna lie. What about you guys?
let's put it into perspective, yeah. So as we were talking about it recently, there's these merchandise listings that come out together to reveal certain products and stuff like that. So for example, we've had one before where it was Satoshi versus Go, and it was like Pikachu versus Scorbunny. So like Zach was bringing up yesterday, it could just be relating to that for that actual line of figurines as well. So it's going to be Ash's Lucario and Go Cinderace. Obviously, the one thing that we need to point out is that with these like figurines were actually teased back in March when we first got the first look at Morpeko, Drizzle, Thwacky, Surfetch and stuff. They were in the bottom corner of that. So it's good that we got a little insight to that as well about, oh, it's going to be a Cinderace, there's Lucario. We already knew that Ash was going to get Riolu because that was shown all the way back in January, for goodness sake. But like, this is something that we were speaking about the other day, and it's going to be interesting because I've seen a lot of our mutuals and friends state that they think that storyline's just going to be over now because of that, and it's going to be quite rushed. But at the same time, this is something that I wanted to bring up as well. And Tom actually made a really good point about it on Twitter. Shout out, Tom. It was just talking about how there's so many more arcs to explore. And like, you know, we've got the whole phenomenon of to do with Dynamax, Gigantamax. We've seen Eternatus and Rose now that featured. So we're going to be seeing what's going to be happening with the Darkest Days. Sonia even mentioned it, of course. There's a lot of possibilities in terms of the merch aspect as well, because we've seen the Eternatus figurines as well. We've even seen a Zapdos figurine. What coincidence and relevance that has, who knows? It could be something maybe to do with the Crown Tundra, and they're just promoting their original forms compared to their Galarian. But relating back to the Lucario and Cinderace situation, obviously merches are one piece of evidence that always likes to tease little bits and bobs in advance, as I'm sure you guys would know as well.
Riolu?
Yeah, Riolu. Everything, man. Everything. Riolu, flipping...
Dragonite?
Yeah, Dragonite, when it was Dragonair. Mimey was there as well. Like, people were like, why is Mimey there? Is Ash going to catch Mimey? And then there we go. When Ash went to the Battle Frontier, he flipping took on in the Flute Cup with Mimey. But, like, for the Cinderace aspect, like... what was it, episode 15, 16, where we saw
17.
17, there you go. Oh yeah, because we didn't include episode 1. Yeah, that's true. Episode 17, we saw it evolve, Scorbunny evolve into Rabu, and then obviously Trey came up with a theory, shout out Trey as well, with how maybe in episode 36, 37, 38, or around that 30ish area, that could be relating to Cinderace and how it would evolve, countering its in-game evolution level. And the fact that we're seeing all of this merch stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen like that. They haven't even updated the bloody intro, bro, with flipping Rabu. You reckon maybe in the next season they'll update the intro with Cinderace and they'll skip the whole thing with Rabu and it would just be like, that's it. Don't worry about Rabu. But
that's probably it when you think about it. Because, like, even with how Ash and Go have been with their Pokemon now, Riolu's been like a second partner to Ash, and then now Sabo seems like the second partner to Go. So I wouldn't be surprised in the new intro when they do the and you're like zooming in on them on the hill. It's like Cinderace on Go's side, but then Sabo on his shoulder, and then Pikachu on Ash's shoulder, but like Lucario next to him.
Oh, that's
their two partners. That's actually pretty cool, even though it's a little rushed for Cinderace. But like that's it's like, especially since it seems like how soon this merchandise is linking to the anime and how soon Rabu's gonna be evolving. It's like it wouldn't make sense to update the intro to have Rabu just fucking show Cinderace now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they kind of left it a little bit late on that, but obviously that was due to pandemic reasons as well. I mean, one thing everyone was like, really speculating about was we're going to see Ash versus Go in a battle, and we've spoken about this loads of times and how we want to see something similar to like Sword and Shield right at the end of the series. Them two have a battle to conclude the series. Maybe
like
the
Ash
whole...
and May did, yeah.
Yeah, precisely how they had their battle like that. And then everyone's like, we were heavily speculating about how, Zash and Zamazenta could be following like that. Like, the heroes of many battles and stuff like that. Just a little thing to conclude the Eternatus arc, and maybe they go under the ownership of both of them and they have a battle with it, and, we see Cinderace and Lucario. There's so many possibilities. It's frying our brains, but I don't know what else to add on to that, Zach.
So one thing I will say is, like, when it comes to this toy line, I checked on the website. It's legit. It seems legit. I mean, it's from Takara Tomy. That's where they make the toys and stuff from Japan. But it says here on the website that the toy is supposed to release September 19th. So I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be in line with whenever Ash gets his Lucario and Go gets his Cinderace. Yeah. So like we can expect those evolutions to happen sometime like right before the toys release or sometime after, because they wouldn't release that shit and then not have it happen for like a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's happening in like 2 months now. That's pretty quick. For Lucario's case, I'm okay with it because it feels like ever since Riolu's been hatched, Ash has been giving Riolu so much attention and training. That's the whole point of the jealousy episode last week. So it makes sense. I mean, look, Riolu's been like training and battling and beating everybody, like, and you need lots of battles and strong friendships to evolve. So it makes sense why it would evolve so fast. You know what I mean? When it comes to Cinderace, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, but one way you can justify it, I guess, is one, if you look at it from a Pokemon games mechanic, like the kind of like the way it evolves, the leveling, like you said, Raf, with like lining up with the episode number, but also the fact that since Go is catching lots of Pokemon left and right, like in the games Let's Go, you get lots of experience from catching Pokemon. And with Go catching, and since this series seems to be showing off more Pokemon game mechanics, like maybe that's why he's leveling up so fast, because Go is catching so many fucking Pokemon. You know what I mean? So that could like justify it. And also, even though it evolved quick, this doesn't mean it's the end of its like arc. Kind of like you mentioned earlier, like not every Pokemon trainer's arc is revolved around their Pokemon and their evolution. Just because they're fully evolved doesn't mean the story is over. There's still lots.
There's so much to explore.
Exactly. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like Raboot, Scorbunny, Cinderace, there's really nothing. There's no story arc with it right now. It's just like Go's companion Pokemon, and it had an edgy phase, and now it's kind of out of that edgy phase. So that story arc is already kind of done when you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm imagining once it's a Cinderace, maybe there's a new like
Gigantic.
story arc between them two. That I don't know. Maybe because it shows interest and wants to battle. Maybe that's their thing now. It wants to battle, and then like it wants to compete with Ash. Not saying that's what they're gonna battle now, but maybe that's why they wanted it to evolve fast enough so it can compete with Ash's Pokemon. Be a good training partner for Ash. Because look, Go was helping Ash train in the last episode, and his Farfetch'd got fucking whacked by Riolu. So like giving him a Cinderace now he can compete with Ash a bit. Maybe I'm not saying he's doing the Galar Gym challenge because that's a lot of the talk that people want to happen. Maybe I don't know, but like it's
Gain
still
some
very
inspiration for battling.
Yeah, they could do something else with it. You know what I mean? I doubt they're gonna show another trainer with the Cinderace because he's the main character. They'd want to show it off with Go. So maybe he does have an arc where he wants to start battling and participates in the World Coronation series. Because Raboot did show interest in that episode that Ash was in the Vermilion Gym. Like maybe that's why they're making him evolve so fast, so he can be able to participate as well. You know what I mean?
And Go's seen on numerous occasions how Ash battles, like in World Championship battles outside as well, and he's like, "Oh my god, you're really odd when you do that thing." And then he's like, "Oh wow, so that's what you meant after all." After he wins the battle and he shows strategy, so he's gained an insight already to how Ash battles. So like you said, he's bound to like pick something up along the line. And if they do have that inevitable battle, hopefully, then it's going to be epic.
I hate to bring this up as well, but we have seen companions such as Serena pick up pointers from Ash battling, as we've seen in such as the cosplay episode where she used Pikachu. She remembered some of Ash's strategies, so yeah. Like, go.
Out of all the companions, Serena, Ben.
Yeah, that's why I said I hate to bring it up.
we've even seen Go command Pikachu to use a Thunderbolt before as well, so he's been watching Ash carefully. He knows.
The more I think about it, it seems like they're setting him up to battle, to do something battle related. Because when you think about it, his goal is to catch every Pokemon. Okay, that's cool, and he's been doing that on the side. But it's like with all the other ways they've been developing Go, it seems like they're definitely setting him up to do something else on the side while he's catching Pokemon. Because he had a whole episode. Episode 7 was all about introducing Pokemon battles to Go. He was like, "I didn't like this. I'm just gonna catch Pokemon because I suck at this." And at the end, after seeing Miami battle, he was like, "Oh, that's what Pokemon battle's about. That looks fun." All these episodes that are dedicated to introducing mechanics to the games, like Mega Evolution with episode 25, and now we're gonna get the trading episode. That might be the episode to introduce trading to Go. Like it seems like they're like just giving him all the Pokemon World mechanics to set him up, and that's why he's like his Cinderace is evolving pretty fast. I mean, even let's say, all right, it's too soon for him to have Cinderace, but he has other fucking Pokemon. He has a Beedrill. He has a giant Golurk. He has a Darmanitan. He has other strong Pokemon as well. So it's like it's not crazy to think about. It just feels weird because we never had like a companion Pokemon evolve this fast. Because most companions, they catch their Pokemon in their first stage, and then we watch them evolve it as the series progresses.
Yeah.
But I mean, Go and Ash are catching fully evolved Pokemon early on, so that they can compete. I would like refuse to believe that Go's catching these strong ass Pokemon just so they could sit at the fucking park.
Yeah, they don't, like what, to protect the bloody flipping lab. Like, come on, man, they've got to have more purpose.
Scovet, man, we're gonna be aware of Scovet.
We've seen him do that before.
Like, Cypher actually wants to fight as well. It had determination, but obviously it got wrecked in the tournament. But like, he's actually got Pokemon that have pure strength, and they want to show like off their raw power in battle as well. Like, this guy's lucky, man. He's already got what, over like 50 Pokemon already. he could literally set up a team if he wanted to now, but he's still gaining that expertise and inspiration, I guess, obviously from Satoshi.
I won't be too mad as long as they handle it well. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember saying to you guys last time on WhatsApp? I can't remember. But I said on WhatsApp, regardless, that Pokemon Journeys to me feels both rushed, but also not at the same time. It's so weird how I feel about that. And as soon as I saw the whole Cinderace thing, I was like, okay, this definitely feels rushed. But just as long as they give a good enough reason for it, and we see them do a lot more, like you guys were saying, then I'll be happy with it, I guess. Just at the moment, it is just kind of to me, though.
If Cinderace evolves just to stand there next to Go and just like help him catch Pokemon, I'm gonna be mad. Why rush that evolution if he's not gonna do shit? You know what I mean?
Exactly. The whole purpose of him having his buddy Pokemon, what, just to stand there, not actually like have a proper like outline of events that have like shown its development and stuff. Can't just be like that. Yeah, it's helping Go catch Pokemon, but flipping heck, come on, give it a bit more than that.
You made us lose cute ass Hibani for this shit? For just to stand there and look cool? No.
The furries are gonna like it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fucking open.
But there we go. We've gone through every topic today, boys. That was a very fun discussion. It's good to be back.
It's been a while.
If you guys did enjoy listening to this podcast as well, if you're watching on YouTube, then please be sure to consider leaving a like, a share, and if you're new here, subscribe to all of our channels along with hitting those bell icon to stay in loop with all things Pokemon anime related. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, then a share is just enough, and a like. Thank you for watching, everybody. This is Entity Maze, Lumos Transact, and the Pokéraph, signing out.
Thank you for watching.